Exercises. Question 1. Fill in the blanks. 1. The two main methods of reproduction are dash and dash. The answer is the two main methods of reproduction are asexual and sexual. 2. The functional unit of a plant's sexual reproduction is dash. The answer is the functional unit of a plant's sexual reproduction is flower. 3. The male reproduction part of a flower is dash. The answer is the male reproduction part of a flower is stamen. 4. When the transfer of pollen from an anther to the stigma occurs in the same flower, the process is called dash. The answer is when the transfer of pollen from an anther to the stigma occurs in the same flower, the process is called self-pollination. 5. Dash give rise to variety and diversity. The answer is variations give rise to variety and diversity. 6. Hydra uses regenerative cells for reproduction in the process of dash. The answer is Hydra uses regenerative cells for reproduction in the process of budding. 7. Yeast reproduces by dash. The answer is yeast reproduces by budding. 8. During unfavorable conditions, dash type of fission is seen in amoeba. The answer is during unfavorable conditions, multiple fission type of fission is seen in amoeba. 9. A basic process in reproduction is the creation of a dash copy. The answer is a basic process in reproduction is the creation of a DNA copy. 10. Dash is necessary to maintain the number of individuals of a species. The answer is reproduction is necessary to maintain the number of individuals of a species. Question 2. Write the correlated terms. 1. Amoeba undergoes simple binary fission and paramecium undergoes dash. The answer is amoeba undergoes simple binary fission and paramecium undergoes transverse binary fission. 2. Planarian undergoes regeneration. Rhizopus undergoes dash. The answer is Planarian undergoes regeneration. Rhizopus undergoes spore formation. 3. Root, stem, leaf undergo vegetative propagation. Flower undergoes dash. The answer is root, stem, leaf undergo vegetative propagation. Flower undergoes sexual reproduction. 4. Asexual reproduction results in similarity. Sexual reproduction results in dash. The answer is asexual reproduction results in similarity. Sexual reproduction results in variations. Question 3. Observe the figures and identify the mode of reproduction in each. Answer. First, binary fission. 2. Vegetative propagation. 3rd, regeneration. Question 4. Explain the following terms. First, reproduction. Answer. 1. The process by which all living organisms give rise to new individuals of the same species is called reproduction. 2. Reproduction is necessary to maintain the number of individuals of a species and to prevent their extinction. Second, vegetative propagation. 1. When new plants are produced from the vegetative parts, that is, roots, stems, leaves, and buds, it is known as vegetative propagation. 2. All plants produced by vegetative propagation are similar to the parent, as they are produced from a single parent. Example, Bryophyllum, potato. Third, pollination. 1. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called as pollination. 2. There are two types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Question 5. Write the function of the following organs in reproduction. First, vagina. A. It provides the route for the menstrual blood to leave the body during menstruation. B. It is a pathway through which sperms enter into a woman's body. C. It is a pathway through which a body comes out of the woman's body during childbirth. Second, stigma. It is a receptive organ on which pollen grains germinate. Third, ovaries. A. They develop and release eggs into the oviduct. B. They secrete the hormone estrogen, which brings about change in girls during puberty. Fourth, seminal vesicle and prostate glands. They produce ejaculatory fluid which helps the sperm in transport and provides nutrition. Fifth, uterus. Uterus accommodates a growing fetus and can push the body during labor. Question 6. Draw a well-labeled diagram of first, longitudinal section of flower. Second, binary fission in amoeba. Third, spore formation in mucor. Fourth, human female reproductive system. Question 7. Answer the following. First, what are the advantages of sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction? Answer. Advantages of sexual reproduction. 1. It restores the number of chromosomes 2n by formation of diploid zygote. 2. It results in variations giving rise to variety and diversity. 3. Organism resulting due to sexual reproduction can adapt and survive in the changing environment. 4. It prevents the complete extinction of animal and plant species. Second, why does menstruation occur? Answer. When the egg is not fertilized, this unfertilized egg, along with blood and mucus, form a flow which leaves the uterus. Thus, menstruation occurs. These periods last for 3 to 5 days. Third, describe sexual reproduction in plants. Answer. 1. Flower is functional unit concerned with sexual reproduction in plants. 2. Once the pollen grains land on stigma, it germinates. 3. The pollen tube grows out from a pollen grain. 4. Each pollen tube contains 2 male gametes. 5. Pollen tube travels through style and reaches the ovary and releases the male gamisters near the egg. 6. One male gamete fuses with the egg cell to form zygote. 7. The second male gamete fuses with a secondary nucleus in the embryo sac to form endosperm. 8. This is called double fertilization. 9. The zygote develops into embryo and the endosperm serves as nutritive tissue for the growing embryo. Fourth, describe the modes of reproduction in unicellular organisms. Answer. The modes of reproduction in unicellular organisms are as follows. A. Binary fission. In binary fission, the living cell divides into 2 equal or nearly equal parts which grow to the size of the original one. In simple binary fission, example in amoeba, division is through any plane. In transverse or longitudinal binary fission, fission occurs through a specific axis. For example, in paramecium or euglena. B. Multiple fission. During unfavorable condition, the amoeba withdraws its pseudopodia and becomes almost round and secretes a hard covering called cyst. Inside the cyst, nucleus divides into many nuclei, followed by division of cytoplasm to form many daughter cells. The cyst bursts to release daughter cells. C. Budding. Yeast reproduce by budding. In budding, small outgrowth is formed on the parent cell. The nucleus of the parent cell divides, and one daughter nucleus migrates into the bud. The bud then increases in size, separates, and grows further. Fifth, explain disadvantages of large family size. Answer. The disadvantages of large family size are as follows. 1. Economic pressure. 2. Mother's poor health. 3. Children neglected at home. 4. Poor housing. 5. Malnutrition. 6. Insufficient medical care. And 7. Lack of better education. Question 8. Write short notes on the following. First, pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called as pollination. If this transfer of pollen occurs in the same flower or another flower of the same plant, it is known as self-pollination. On the other hand, if pollen is transferred from one flower to the flower of another plant of the same species, it is known as cross-pollination. The agent of cross-pollination is wind, water, or animals. Second, regeneration. Answer: the capacity to regenerate is very high among some animals. They can reconstruct the entire body from the isolated body cells. Regeneration is carried out by specialized cells. These cells proliferate and make large number of cells which later develop into various cell types tissue and help in production of new organisms. When Planarian is cut into many pieces, each piece develops into a whole Planarian. Third, germination of seeds. Answer: after fertilization, the zygote divides several times to form an embryo within the ovule. The ovule develops into a seed and ovary develops into the fruit. The seed contains the future plant. It develops into the seedling under appropriate conditions. This process is known as germination. Fourth, multiple fission. Answer: during unfavorable conditions, the amoeba withdraws its pseudopodia, becomes almost round, and secretes a hard covering called cyst. Inside the cyst, nucleus divides into many nuclei by repeated division, followed by division of cytoplasm. Later, it releases daughter cells during favorable conditions. Fifth, importance of variation. Answer: during sexual reproduction, two germ cells fuse to produce offsprings which are different from parents. Thus, variations give rise to variety and diversity. Variations enable organisms to adapt and survive in the changing environment. It helps to prevent the complete extinction of animal and plant species.